haven't heard that for such a long time. That's from Bombay and Kya Kehna. And you are listening to the BBC Asian Network. It's 11:21. Sorry, you've just caught me having a bit of a girly chat with our guests coming up in Music with a Message this morning. We've got Kiran Zamman, Lady Dizzla, Neelofir Mir as well. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you.
Pleasure to be here.
Yes, speak.
Yep.
Otherwise, they'll think you're my imaginary
pleasure to be here. Yeah.
Music with a Message, of course, is when we pick up a bunch of music artists who've got something behind their music. It's pretty self-explanatory. And you guys have got a range of subjects that we're going to touch on this morning behind your music, and we'll hear your tracks as well. But there's a commonality between all of you. You're all part of a Sisterhood project. Tell me a bit more about that, Kiran.
Yeah. Okay, it's basically the Norwegian singer Dia. She's basically made a compilation album of female Asian Muslims, producers, singers, rappers, just lots of different kind of things going on there. All the subjects are quite serious, so it's a serious type of album.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Lady Dizzla, how did you get involved then? Did Dia call you, or what's happened?
No, she sent a message out. So from there, she sent it to everyone, any Muslim girls that wanted to actually be on the album, and we just basically replied back whoever wanted to actually be part of the album.
And for you guys, as career choices in terms of, just being musical, they're pretty unconventional, not very talked about. We don't often hear about young Muslim women being rappers and singers and stuff. And Dia herself,
yeah.
I mean, she's a great prime example of getting a lot of stick for making that career choice at the beginning, isn't she?
This is why a project like this is so important, because it shows that, there are those of us that are doing it there, and a path that hasn't been walked before is always very hard. So, there's probably a lot of young Asian Muslim females out there that have aspirations, have dreams, want to be, creatively expressive, but, don't have the encouragement. They don't even have the support within the community. So
do you think it's the same, for all Asian women, a lot of Asian women, that they're not really encouraged to go into these careers? Or do you think it's harder if you're Muslim, or what?
I think the industry is seen to be something not bad, but, it's kind of a taboo.
It's going to corrupt you.
Exactly. Yeah. The thing, if you're in the industry, then you must be bad, you must be doing bad things, you must be out partying, you must be doing this. But, it's the same with anyone. It just comes down to the individual. This is just a career choice which we've chosen because it's what we love. It's the same as if we had a love for science, or if we had a love for anything else.
Yeah.
But I think that definitely is one of the biggest reasons why female Muslims aren't kind of pushed to do it. They kind of...
What do your parents think?
It's interesting because, when I first started out, I was still in uni, and I was doing a lot of open mic shows, and, those open mic shows happen at unsociable hours sometimes, so it wasn't seen as a good thing, you know what I mean? And I didn't have support from
past
my family.
6 p.m.
Past 6 p.m, past the curfew, you're not home at 9 p.m. kind of thing, that kind of, and it was... I'm sure it wasn't said outright, but I'm sure it was thought of as, this is just an excuse to be out there in the clubs and, doing things you shouldn't be doing, yeah? And it's quite disheartening when you're out there doing something very positive and something important to you, but, there are negative connotations to what you do, and it's really disheartening because... in a lot of other cultures, if they're young, if the youth are going out there doing stuff, they have full backing, 100% support. When you don't have that, it's kind of like you're living a double life. I know I've felt that many times.
Exactly, yeah.
But when you have a passion for something and you have the courage of your convictions, you believe in what you're doing, then, a lot of us, and this is why, it's really nice that so many of us have come together, from the US, from the UK, all over the UK, not just London, come together and share in our art forms and the creative expression.
Because it must be quite draining in a way, emotionally, where you love what you're doing. You've got a message clearly with what you're doing as well, and then you walk through the front door and it's like nobody's asking you what that was about or interested in your work, but it's more about what time you've got home and stuff, and you're thinking, hang on a minute, do you understand me? Do you not find it draining mentally?
It's very draining, and also it's interesting about Asian culture. I mean, I'm from a Pakistani family. It's very interesting to me that everything is results driven. Yeah. So, I understand the mentality, because obviously, the first generation that came over here, they struggled to attain a certain lifestyle. So for their young now growing up, obviously, their intentions are they just want the best for you. So, I want you to be a doctor, lawyer, accountant, have the nice house, the car.
Oh, we talked about this yesterday.
That's coming from a nice place, but, we want more now. I was born here, yeah? I'm 27 years of age, so my aspirations and dreams is far surpassed just to have the nice house and the nice car. I want to do what I want to do. I've got something to say.
Well, how are your dreams different?
Well, in terms of, now we've got more Asian females in TV, in radio, that kind of thing. That wasn't happening in the 40s and 50s when my grandmother came over here. So we've progressed, yeah? And just, before it was about having equal rights and being treated the same as your, maybe white English counterparts. Now it's about much more than that.
Okay.
And the results-driven thing is what I touched on earlier, is the fact of, when I started coming on BBC Asian Network, all of a sudden it's, well done, it's paid off, all this thing that you do, because it's something that
there's a status.
Yeah. And Asian culture is a stickler for status. So once they start seeing results, it's like, oh yeah, we were behind you all the way. Yeah, right. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Do you guys relate to that, what Neelofir is saying?
I have to say I'm really kind of lucky in the sense that my parents and my family really, really do support me. So, I mean, because I'm predominantly a producer, so, it was my dad that actually helped me set up a studio and everything. So,
really? Okay.
Yeah, so I'm lucky in that sense. But when it comes to the Asian the other side, not family, I can definitely...
The general kind of wider picture.
I can definitely see what you're saying. And
people who don't really know you, but they think they have a right to tell you.
Yeah. And it is a bit of a pressure as well, because... For example, we've made the choice to kind of go into these careers and do this, and for me, I'm doing it because even if I fail, I know that I've tried to do it. But if we do fail, then, no doubt we're going to hear the flack for, kind of going into an industry.
But at least you're, good for you, because you're following your dreams and you're still going out there and you're doing it. And you're going to be the, trailblazers for other people. And Lady Dizzla, you're the quiet one in this. These two dominate. What about you? What's your own family kind of support been like?
No, they support me a lot. My mum especially, she's like, yeah, go do whatever you want. It's like a give and take situation though.
Yeah.
Okay, you can do this, but don't stay out too late and only do it sometimes or something like that. So she's quite supportive of it.
Do you feel like you're leading the double life sometimes?
Yeah.
For me, this is what I'm doing 24/7. I finished uni and this is what I'm working towards, kind of, so it's out in the open.
Good for you. And the reaction you get from lads? Guys, are they judgmental, or are they brilliant girls?
I tell you, it's really 50-50, because especially because I'm doing something so technological and I'm not just standing up on stage singing. I do get criticism.
Absolutely.
As in,
absolutely.
You're a girl.
I think it's the intimidation factor again with the Asian culture. It's like traditionally you want your women to be timid and very submissive and all of that. And you've got someone going out on stage, they've got stuff to say, they're producing. They've got all this technical know-how and they're like, okay.
But you blow them away completely.
Yeah, I think, I think they're coming around a bit more, but again, they're very quick to jump on any little mistake. They're there to criticise. So, it's something where you have to really be... You have to be a formidable character, I think, to want to pursue this.
Which I think you are.
Think so? You think
so? We've got Kiran Zamman, Lady Dizzla, and Neelofir Mir from the Sisterhood project, and we're going to hear all your tracks. They're all very, very different messages from all three in a short while. So that is coming up in the next half hour. Stick with us. It's the Asian Network. There's the wrap at 11:30 now with Sonia Deol.
Pakistan fast bowler Mohammad Asif's been held by police in Dubai on suspicion of carrying an illegal drug. He was stopped at the airport on his way to Lahore, and you can get more on that story in the wrap at midday. The government's pouring millions into youth projects to try and stop young British Muslims being radicalised. Critics say it'll just alienate people. And the RSPCA wants urgent action to stop people using dogs as weapons by training them to be aggressive. It says some people use their dogs as status symbols. In sports, Alex Ferguson says he'll definitely quit as Man United manager by 2011. Meanwhile, Mark Hughes is a favourite to take over at Man City. Sven's off to be coach for Mexico. And Jose Mourinho's been talking to the press later after signing a 3-year deal with Inter Milan. That's it from me. The Wrap team are back at midday.